There is one thing absolutely no one tells you about divorce. I'm not talking about some shallow karma fantasy where she suddenly realizes what she lost and comes running back. No, this is something far deeper, far more brutal, and purely psychological. Your ex-wife is about to walk straight into a psychological minefield that she spent years convincing herself doesn't exist. This is about what happens when a person trades known certainty, however flawed, for a perfect illusion. Right now, as you're watching this, millions of men are scrolling through their ex's Instagram. They see her posting quotes about new beginnings, about living her best life, about being strong and independent, and they torture themselves, thinking she's thriving while they're drowning. But let me tell you the actual reality unfolding behind those filters, fake smiles, and motivational captions. She is about to collide with a reality so harsh that her brain will literally have to rewire itself just to cope with the mental upheaval known as cognitive dissonance. When a woman leaves a marriage that lasted years, she isn't just leaving you. She's leaving an entire psychological ecosystem she wasn't even aware existed. For however long you were together, you were her reference point for everything. Every decision, every emotion, every plan for the future. You were somewhere in the equation. You were the center of her psychological universe. And now, she's floating in space without gravity, desperately trying to convince herself that weightlessness is freedom. This first phase, which we call the honeymoon with herself, lasts anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. She is high on her decision, feeling the euphoria of being so brave, so strong, so independent. She starts that yoga class, redecorates the house, and maybe downloads a dating app just to see what's out there. Her friends are feeding her validation like it's a drug. You look amazing. You're glowing. You deserve so much better. And God, she believes it. During this phase, she is not living in reality. She is living in a story she tells herself about reality. She is the heroine who escaped from mediocrity, with endless possibilities waiting around the corner. Her phone is buzzing with matches and messages, giving her attention she hasn't felt in years. She interprets this as absolute proof she made the right choice. What she fails to realize is that she is mistaking quantity for quality, attention for intention, and novelty for actual value. And then comes phase 2, the awakening. Though it's more like a slow-motion car crash. It starts with small things. She goes on her first real date since the divorce. The guy seems perfect on paper. Good-looking, successful, says all the right things. They have dinner, drinks, everything seems fine. But by the end of the night, when he makes his move, a realization hits her like a bucket of ice water. This man, he doesn't actually care about her. He doesn't know she's scared of thunderstorms. He doesn't know that she cries during that one commercial. To him, your ex-wife is just a Friday night date. And that's when the first crack appears in her narrative. But she pushes through, because admitting doubt now would mean admitting she might have made a mistake. And that is psychologically unbearable. So she doubles down. More dates, more apps, more nights out. Except now, something is different. The attention doesn't feel intoxicating anymore. The compliments feel hollow. Slowly, without even realizing it, she starts comparing them. To you, not consciously. Consciously, she is still clinging to the story that you were the problem. But subconsciously, her brain is doing its job, pattern matching. That charming new guy? He talks over her constantly. The one with the great job? Emotionally unavailable. The fun, spontaneous one? Irresponsible. And with each comparison, you start looking better in hindsight. Not because you were perfect, but because you were known. You were safe. You were home. This leads us to phase 3, the panic. It usually hits around the 6 to 8 month mark. The novelty has completely worn off. Her friends are tired of hearing about her dating adventures. The children, if you have them, are acting out because their world has been shattered, and she has been too busy finding herself to notice. She is exhausted from keeping up the performance of being happy, because that's what it is now, a performance. Every "I'm living my best life" post takes more effort. Every public smile feels heavier. The panic manifests as she starts rewriting history. The marriage that was so terrible? Maybe it wasn't that bad. You, the person she couldn't stand to be around. Maybe she was too harsh. She cannot simply admit she made a mistake. That would shatter her entire sense of self. So, she does something fascinating. She creates a new story where you have changed or you have grown. This allows her to entertain the idea of reconciliation without having to admit she was wrong. Meanwhile, the harsh reality of the dating market bites. The dating pool for a divorced woman, especially one with kids, is not what romantic comedies lead you to believe. She is competing with players who see her as an easy target, married men looking for affairs, and perpetually single guys who are single for a very good reason. She starts to realize something terrifying. The market value she thought she had doesn't exist. All those dating app matches are mirages. They match everyone. The compliments about her beauty are copied and pasted to dozens of women. The harsh economics of post-divorce dating hits her. She's not special. She's just another profile among thousands. Phase 4. The Reckoning. This is when the psychological defense mechanisms finally fail, typically around the 1-year mark. She can no longer maintain the story. The loneliness is crushing, not the everyday kind, but the existential kind, where she realizes she's blown up her entire life for a fantasy that doesn't exist. She'll be sitting alone one night, and the magnitude of what she's done, the irreversibility of it, will hit her all at once. She traded a flawed, real relationship for a perfect, imaginary one. The weight of this realization is so heavy that some women literally cannot process it. Their emotional centers shut down just to survive. This is when the late-night texts begin. You know the ones. They usually come between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. They might start casual. "Hey, how are you?" Or, "I was just thinking about that time we..." But what she is really saying is, "I'm drowning, and you are the only life jacket I remember." She may send angry texts blaming you for things that happened years ago, because anger is easier than regret, or sad texts reminiscing, but they all mean the same thing. The grass wasn't greener. It was artificial turf. Amidst all this, there is the devastating irony. Right around the time she reaches peak regret, you are likely starting to heal. Men typically process divorce differently. We internalize, we rebuild, we focus on action. So, by the time she realizes what she lost, you've already started becoming someone new, someone better, someone who learned from the marriage and the divorce. You have, ironically, become the man she always wanted you to be. This creates a psychological torture chamber for her, because now she can see the version of you she always claimed she wanted, but it's too late. You achieved it without her, or even because of losing her. And the knowledge that she catalyzed your improvement but won't benefit from it is a special kind of hell that keeps her up at night. Let's talk about another brutal syndrome, the Sunday night syndrome. This is the phenomenon where divorced women have their worst moments on Sunday nights. Why? Because Sunday night is when the performance ends. The distractions are gone. The children are asleep or at your place. Tomorrow is Monday, and another week of pretending everything is fine. And in that quiet moment, the truth creeps in. She is alone. Truly alone. Not independent, not free, not empowered, just alone. Around the 2-year mark, she faces a brutal choice. She can either admit the truth and try to make amends, or she can double down on the lie and reshape her entire personality around it. Most choose the latter, becoming bitter, cynical, joining online groups that reinforce their choices. But here is the cruelest irony that many of these women eventually realize, often years later. They didn't leave you because you weren't enough. They left because they thought they deserved more. They wanted excitement, but they got chaos. They wanted to feel alive again, but they feel dead inside. They wanted to be desired, but they became disposable. They wanted better, but they just got different. And different is not always better. So, what actually happens to your wife after divorce? She gets exactly what she asked for: freedom. And she discovers that what she asked for and what she truly wanted were two entirely different things. Ultimately, she has to live with the knowledge that she didn't leave a bad relationship. She left a relationship that she made bad in her own mind. And now, she watches from the sidelines as you build the life she convinced herself was impossible, only with someone else who appreciated what she couldn't.